Yes, Ray. This will be recorded. Perfect. Well, hello, everyone. We're probably going to have some more folks joining us as well as we move on here, but thank you for joining us on today's webinar highlighting our brand new LV Compensate module. Quick intro about the Loan Vision team you're going to hear from today. We can bring up the slides. I'm Brian Friedman, VP of Sales. I'm responsible for building and leading the go-to-market sales team focused on banks, credit unions, and IMBs. I'm also joined by Ben Saunders, Loan Vision's VP of Operations and General Manager. Ben has been at Loan Vision for over 10 years and leads the company's operations department, overseeing implementations and customer success. And then finally, Jenna Nelson is Loan Vision's Director of Product Management and Strategic Partnerships. Jenna is responsible for the product roadmap, product innovation, and cultivating Loan Vision's strategic partnership. So just a couple of quick housekeeping items before we jump into it. I already saw this question pop up. We are recording this call and we will be sharing it at the end of the webinar. Everyone is muted, but we do want to make this interactive. So any questions that you have, please use the Q&A, the question and answer box in Zoom. We'd prefer that you don't use the chat window. It just makes it a lot easier for us to manage the questions that are going to come in. We are going to do our best to answer some questions as we go through the session if it's appropriate. And if not, we'll leave some time at the end for Q&A. So to get started and to help us customize this discussion, we're going to start off with a quick poll of the group. And so we can go ahead and bring that up on screen here. And it is on screen. And the question is, what are you currently using for commissions? What are you currently using for commissions? We'll give you about 15 seconds or so to take a moment and to answer that question. Probably a good time for some background music. And you probably are good, I think, with that question. And we can put up the results. Perfect. Okay, so Jenna and Ben, you can see the results.
Do you mind just 1 second, Brian? I'm going to take just a quick screenshot of that because I want to reference that later. Thank you.
Yep, sure thing. Perfect.
Excellent. Got it.
Okay, so now we go to the next slide here. Before I hand this over to Ben, here is what we're going to cover today. We're going to start off with some background and evolution of how LV Compensate came to be. We're going to discuss the problem statements that LV Compensate addresses. We're going to dive right into the live software. And then finally, we're going to save some time, like I mentioned earlier, for some Q&A. So Ben, the floor is yours.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thanks, Brian. Hello, everybody. So I just wanted to start a little bit with the why here. So a lot of times when we jump into a webinar or really any type of endeavor, and in this case right here, a major one that we have underwent with launching a new product, I like to explain to everybody who's on the attendees list here, why did we proceed with doing that? And first and foremost, this is an example of our commitment to innovation. If you happen to attend the Loan Vision Innovation Conference last year in Chicago, you would have heard us talk an awful lot about ways in which we're trying to bring innovation to our customers. This is a specific example with our LV Compensate module here. It also is part of our Buy, Build, Partner initiative. Just a real brief recap on our Buy, Build, Partner initiative. When we look to innovate, in really one of three ways. If we see perhaps an organization that's doing something that we think fits our company's mission and can benefit our customers, we potentially look to partner with them or potentially look to buy their business as well too, and be able to utilize and benefit from the tools that people that we will partner with. In this case, this does not fall under our buy or build initiative. This actually falls under our build initiative. Sorry, not our buy or partner initiative, I should say. This falls under our build initiative. We built this on our own. The reason why we look at LV Compensate and we build something like this on our own is because this really fits our core of the system. This is really core to the loan level accounting. It's specifically really core the loan card in the system. I saw from the survey there that about 39% of you are currently using LoanVision's commissions module now. And so for those of you who are using our commissions module now, you'll start to see some of the enhancements we made to it. But hopefully for those folks that see, you'll see that, for past 10 years or so, we've been able to continuously build out and improve our existing commissions module. And now this is just the next step up, specifically being very centric to the end user, particularly the loan officer, the branch manager. We also took a lot of feedback from our customers when we went to build out this new LV Compensate module. And really the overwhelming feedback we got, and probably for a lot of the 39% of you who answered that you're using LoanVision commissions now, you probably gave us similar feedback. The overwhelming feedback we got from our customers is we really like how LoanVision's commissions calculates commissions. It's very flexible in its ability to calculate the commissions. However, we don't like the display that goes out to the end users, particularly the branch managers, the loan office, LOAs, the processors. We have to send them a commission sheet, and it's pretty simple or basic looking. We want a portal. We want a commission portal. And so that amongst the enhancements that we bring with LV Compensate, the commission portal is the major one, and it really comes directly from the feedback from our existing customers. For those of you who aren't using our commissions module right now, some of the feedback we got from maybe some of you on the call as well too is they had some frustrations with the current vendors and the existing offerings out there. So we definitely identified a need for this as well too. We see that there's a need, and we think it's something that's very core to our business. We think that's something we do very, very well. We think we have done it pretty well over the years with our existing commissions module, but we very much recognize that it needed to be stepped up, and we needed to really enhance it. And so for those reasons, we decided to build out this LV Compensate module, and we're excited to show you more about it today. I'll go ahead and pass it over to you, Jenna.
Awesome. All right. So before I get into problem statements, and then obviously the best part is the demo, just kind of want to level set a little bit, build on what Ben has said, right? So for those of you that use commissions today, it's extremely flexible. It can handle all the crazy scenarios out there. And that's not its problem. Again, that problem is our end user is reliant on an emailed commission sheet. There's no way for them to know what's going on during the period before we send these out. If they have any questions, this takes a more proactive approach rather than reactive. So this LV Compensate is we have the cloud-based commissions portal. A big plus of this is that the commissions portal is built on a different Microsoft technology. So while LoanVision commissions itself is built on Business Central, this is built on Microsoft Power Pages. So we've adopted a new technology here. So the portal users do not require a Business Central license, which is a really big win. It brings that increased transparency and accessibility. It gives them that visibility into their comp plan. They can log into the portal from any device that they have. We've made our draws more flexible. And then we've included a really streamlined communication flow as well as approvals. So with that, I will jump into the 3 problem statements that we're going to focus on today. Of course, I must start by saying these are not the only 3 problem statements that LV Comp solves for, but for today's demoing purposes, these are the 3 we want to keep in mind. So number 1, commissioned employees lack transparency and visibility into their commissions data. Number 2, ever increasing complexity of commission plans, as well as the speed to calculate those commission plans. And then number 3, draws and debts are managed for most people in Excel spreadsheets, or it's outside of their current compensation tool. So we'll dive a little bit deeper into each of these. All right, so when I'm talking about problem statement number 1, your end users, your LOAs, your processors, your loan officers, they want to see their commissions information in real time. So enter the commissions portal. When they don't have this, there's confusion. How much should I expect to get paid this much? I thought my paycheck for last month should have been, $500 higher. What happened? Or, hey, I want to give 5% of my commissions this month to Brian, since he was, so helpful in helping me close a loan. So the commissions portal here, you can see a screenshot of it. We have solved for a lot of these issues. Problem statement number 2, as the industry changes, as technology changes, commissions plans are getting more and more complex. Thankfully, Loan Vision has an extremely strong tool to handle all of these complexities, and you can do it in a matter of minutes. I've talked to so many people that have said, it used to take me days to calculate my commissions and then send out each individual commission sheet to my loan officers. And now you can do it in a matter of minutes. So it's really, really, really incredible. And then problem statement number 3, draws and debts. So it has been my mission since starting here at Loan Vision at the middle of last year to really understand draws. So I sat with countless of our customers to say, how are you tracking your draws and your debts right now? And majority of people said, I'm doing it in an Excel spreadsheet because I don't have anywhere else to track it. And many of you also said, I'm getting really nervous that my Excel spreadsheet is going to break soon because I'm so reliant on it. It has so much data in it, and I don't want to get to that point. So that can lead to risks. It can lead to inefficiencies in your reporting and your reconciliations. And so we've really tried to make our draws and debts management flexible to handle as many scenarios as possible. Really proud of this part of LV Compensate. Carl likes to make fun of me that I'm the only person that gets excited about draws, that no one on this call would be as excited as me. But as a product manager, it's really, really cool to build a product that can solve problems for our end users. So again, just a recap, you want to keep these problem statements in mind as we go through the demo. So I'm going to start out the demo myself. And for this one, we're going to focus on problem statement number 1. All right. So this is the commissions portal. So I should caveat this by saying I'm logged in here as an admin, so I can see, all of the data, all of the options in here. This is not exactly what an end user would see if they're in here as just a loan officer. But we're going to look at this from a few different levels. So the first one's going to be your individual contributor. So this is your loan officers, your LOAs, your processors, your underwriters. This is anyone that has a commissions profile created in Loan Vision can have a commissions portal login. A question we get a lot is, is it only loan officers? It's not only loan officers. It can handle all types. The other one is going to be a branch manager. So if you have branch managers, they have a separate view where they can see all of the loan officers that fall within their branch. And then if you have a region manager, I know not everyone does, but we do have the capability that if you do have regions, you can log in as a regional manager and you can see all the financial information for all of your branches and all of your loan officers. And then the final one that we'll look at is the admin or accounting level. This is somebody that can log into the portal and they can see, all of the financial and commissions information for regions, branch, loan officers, et cetera, at the company. So starting with the loan officer end user. So you can see here, I log in, I've got a period selection right here. This period selection is going to pull directly from Loan Vision itself. So you can see, I can see all past periods as well as my most recent period. Down here, this is just a summary of the period's information. So the first one being the dates. So they can see exactly what this commission's information is relating to. They can see what their volume is in here, as well as their loan count. And if they had adjustments, this would be included in that count. What their commissions is looking like. If they do have any adjustments, they would pull into this table and then what that total commission is looking like for the period. So if I scroll down here, let's say I'm here and I can see, okay, so these are my 2 loans that are adding up to my $510,000. I can see the loan number, I can see the borrower name, date, commission amount, what the BIPs are, as well as this little email icon. So let's say I'm here and I'm looking at this and I'm like, I thought my BIPs for, this line item should be 150 BIPs, let's say, or you thought it should be a little less. When I talk about that streamlined communication flow, what we've done is we've created this button right here. So I'm going to click this. It's going to open an email. It is on my other screen. So let me drag it over. All right. So you can see here, this email auto-populates and it pulls in who you want the email to go to. The subject is already filled out here. And then the details of the email are automatically filled out. So I can come in here and say, hey, I thought my BIPs should be XYZ. The end user that this goes to, they already have the loan number as well as they have this URL. This URL will take you to that loan card within LoanVision itself so that you can look at this email, click that link, go in, and then you can make whatever changes or verify whatever their question is really easily. So super, super straightforward. Down here, if I had any adjustments, they would show up down here, and I can show you another profile that has adjustments so you can see what that would look like. And then here you'll see this other email icon. This is what I like to think about as like our general inquiry email. So let's say you don't have a specific email or a specific question about a loan, but you more so have a question about, let's say, your commissions profile. So if I open commissions profile, you'll see up here, I have this one. This is the profile for the user that I'm logged in here as, but it's a very simple one. So I wanted to pull up a different one so you can see. So if I log in here as James, I open my commissions profile, I can see down here exactly why my commissions are calculating the way that they are. So you can see down here, James's first few months, he was getting 15 bips. After the end of May of 23, he went up to 75 bips per loan. And then he also has a period-based calculation. So for his first few months, he had a guarantee of $1,500. And so what this will show a user as if their commissions structure changes, all of that will be tracked in here so that they can kind of see how it's changed and why everything's being calculated the way that it's calculated. If James had tiers, which he doesn't, you can see here, but I do just want to pull this up so you can see the tier card. So if he had any tiers, he would be able to see what tiers he has assigned to his profile. Do keep in mind, again, I'm in here as an admin, so I can see everything. If he did not have any tiers, he would not be able to open up any tiers information, but that is there if they do have a tiers code applied to their account. So let's say that the end user's in there and they have a question about their overall structure. They have a question about their guarantee. They can click this email icon. This is going to open up just an email subject line where you say, guarantee question, hit send email. So what that's going to do is that's going to do the same flow where it's going to automatically open up an email within Outlook. It's going to have your to already filled in, as well as your subject line is already filled in. And the reason that we have you capture the subject line in here is, I'll just pull this over so you can see what I'm talking about. Guarantee question already filled out. The reason we capture that subject line is because if I was in here as an end user, I would have up top a little button that says my commissions and then email log. That email log is a way to track all outgoing email communications from the portal so that you can go back and reference it or you can track it. The communication then obviously moves to email, but you do have that log. If you're like, did I send an email, 2 months ago to ask about something, you can click in that email log and you can see it. The last thing I want to highlight from the loan officer, processor, underwriter view is this approve button. So we have built-in approvals, and we have them built in at a couple different levels, which I'll get into in a little bit. But this allows a user to log in for the latest period that's available for them if you have approvals in place, and they can look and say, yep, everything looks good for this, hit approve, and that approval will then be tracked in LoanVision. Or if they don't want to approve, they have a question, they use that general email flow. Email goes out and then they can approve once everything's looking good on their end. A question we get a lot: what happens if somebody doesn't approve? Does it stop their payment? The answer is no. This is not to stop any payments from going out, but what it does give you is a level, a blanket of safety, right? For if you need like an audit trail down the line, if somebody tries to come back to you, 3 months later and say, hey, I didn't get paid, what I should get paid for August of 2023, you will be able to see in Loan Vision who approved every single period, so you can go back to them and have that conversation. So it really is providing you with that audit trail and that sense of safety for your business. The next view I'm going to look at, which is extremely similar, is a branch view. So if I log in here and I'm a branch manager, I would obviously not see a branch selection down here. I can only see this because I'm an admin, but I would be able to see everything related to my branch. So I have the El Paso branch pulled up. You can see this is a smaller branch. They only have 2 loan officers, but the same period information up top is a summary. So they can see the dates, they can see the volume, the count, what their commissions are looking like for their loan officers, any adjustments, and what those totals may be. And then you can click into that page. This is going to take you exactly to what we were just looking at previously for the LV Comp user. So you can see all of that. You can see their commissions profile information if you need to see how their commissions are being calculated if they come to you with a question. And these are going to be in alphabetical by last name. And then down here, you will have a list again of the loans that are pulling in for your branch, as well as any adjustments. I'm going to go find, let me find one that has just a little bit more information so I can show you. Let's try Atlanta. Of course, I choose one that doesn't have it. Let me try Portland. This is all dummy data in here. So you can see, right? So this will pull in all loan officers for your branch. Same email functionalities available as well. So it really is just a super, super simple, straightforward user experience. If I'm in here as a regional manager, I know, again, not everyone has regions, but if you do, we have it set up where you can see the information at the region level. So let's say I'm the region manager for the North Pacific region. I come in here and I can see my Seattle branch as well as my Portland branch, right? So here's a good example where you can see adjustments pulling in. So the Portland branch has a marketing fee. That adjustment's going to show there. Scroll down, again, same functionality, super straightforward. I'm a regional manager. I have a question. I can hit this email for a specific loan, or I can use my general inquiry email. And then down here, you can see Clinton Graham has that adjustment pulling in for this period. And then finally, the accounting view. So this is how I think of it as like an admin, right? So this is somebody that can see all of the financial data for your company, as well as they can do some of the setup. So I'm in here as the accounting view. Let's say you have a loan officer emailing you saying, hey, I'm seeing X, Y, and Z in my portal. Do you know what this could be? Right? So you can come in here and you can see everything that I've just showed you. So you're able to click down to the loan officer level and look directly at their profile so you can see exactly what they're seeing, and hopefully answer any questions that they have if it's not related to Loan Vision itself. Again, period information, same summation, as well as list of all of the loans, and then list of any adjustments for the selected period. The 2 pages that you do have at the admin level is the accounting setup as well as the profile. So if I go to accounting setup, what you're going to see here, so all of these email flows that I'm talking about, all of these outbound emails from the end user, this is where you're going to enter that email address. Obviously for us, we have it as a specific person, but it could be, accounting@loanvision.com or commissions@loanvision.com, and it can go directly to that inbox. And then we have approvals. So this is what I was talking about before. So we have 4 different levels of approvals. So you can have no approvals. We've talked to a couple people that say, we just have too many loan officers. It's too complex. We don't want any approvals. That's totally fine. Or they say, hey, we want approvals, but just at the loan officer level. We'll do that. or they wanted it just the branch manager level, or they want branch manager and loan officer. So we do have that flexibility based on what works for your business. And so you just set it in here, hit submit, and you're good to go. The other page within accounting setup is profiles. So we know that, you will have employees coming and going all the time, right? That's very normal in this business. This is a really, really easy way for you to manage those profiles. So you can see here, if I wanted to just click in on a user and I want to, edit something, I click here, it goes in, it pulls up that profile page. And when that page opens, you can change, let's say they need their email updated, or you need to assign them a loan officer code or a branch code or a region code. So you can do all of these things in the profile page. So it's just super, super straightforward. And then you can assign them their role. So when you are getting set up with LV Compensate, this is how we're going to set up all of the users. We're going to assign every person as whether they're a loan officer, branch manager, region manager, admin. We're going to get their loan officer code, their branch code, region, et cetera, their email. And once we hit save, they're going to automatically get an email with a redemption code, which I will show you that at the end here. So that flow is super easy. You can add profiles here, edit them, and delete them. The last thing I will show you in the portal is the actual login process, because we get this question a lot, and I want to show you all how easy it is. So I'm just going to sign out myself. So what will happen is when you're on that profile page, you're creating a profile for a new loan officer, let's say. I said you'll go in, you'll put all their information, you'll put their email in, you'll save it, and they'll automatically get emailed a redemption code, or to redeem their invitation code. So they would click that link from their email. It's going to take them directly to this redeem invitation code. They're going to enter that invitation code. They're going to hit register. What that invitation code does is it ties their email address with Microsoft Entra ID. So you can see for me, this is all I have to do. Anytime I want to access the portal, I just hit Microsoft Entra ID. It does the work in the background, and I'm logged right into the portal. So it's super, super straightforward. So that is everything from the portal point of view. So again, that was all around problem statement number 1. I'm going to hand it over to Ben, who is going to talk about problem statements 2 and 3.
Thank you so much, Jenna. I really appreciate that going through that. And for those of you, again, at the beginning of the call, about 39% of you are using Loan Vision's commissions today. Of the 61% of you that are not, perhaps you had demoed Loan Vision's commissions at some point in the future. And really for everybody on the call, if you've ever had a chance to see how we used to display the commission's information to the commissioned employees, i.e. the loan officers, the processors, the branch managers, and so forth, how we used to display that, via an email with a PDF, you'll see what Jenna just showed there is a far cry from that, in a much positive, in a very, very positive way. And that's what we're probably, as say, the most excited about with LV Compensate is, we've really heard the feedback loud and clear. We heard people saying, we need better ways for our commissioned employees to be able to view the data, and be able to see that. And that's what we built with that commission portal there that Jenna just showed. So again, Jenna, thank you for going through that. And Jenna went over that at a very high level. So anybody on the call who wants to see that further, please make sure you reach out to us, because we'll go into that with further detail for you. On to me now to discuss some of the other two problem statements. So complexity with calculating commissions, as well as commissions draws. So I want to show some other features that LV Compensate brings. So at the first part of the call, I'm probably going to mostly be referencing a little bit to the 61% of you who don't use commissions today. For those 39% that do use it, please do pay close attention, so you'll see the functionality that will stay very similar or very much the same. And really specifically for those folks, a really important question you might have is if and when you switch from your commissions to LV Compensate, is it a whole new overhaul or an implementation? And the short answer to that is no. We're able to take what you have existing today with your commission profile set up as well. So you'll see some examples there. What I like to do whenever I have an opportunity with a group like this, I can't cover every single little thing that commissions can cover with the complexity. So I'd like to highlight some of the ones that I hear most common. Specifically over the past several years, I'll hear a lot of people talk about the concept of tiers. They'll talk about the concept of conditions. They'll talk about the concept of guarantees. So I usually like to highlight some examples and how Loan Vision works in those scenarios, so you can then start to think about how does that work in your case, and will that work for you? And again, I won't have the opportunity to go over every single little detail. So please, reach out to us if there's anything that we don't answer today, and you have some type of a calculation that needs set up. Please make sure you reach out to us so we can show you and that calculation with you. But generally speaking, if you've ever heard me talk about commissions in the past, I'll largely will say, as long as the data that you need to calculate your commissions is on the loan card, and the calculation that needs to occur can be logical. In other words, there's not like a human element to it, like a discretionary bonus or something like that. Generally speaking, we can find a way to calculate that for you. So I'm going to show you some examples here. Some of the things you'll see especially for those of you who used Loan Vision's commissions in the past, is you'll see we revamped the look and feel of our commissions module. So when we come to the compensation profiles page, you'll notice some changes that you'll see here. Particularly the look and feel of it is more aesthetically pleasing. That was some other feedback we got in the past, that the system just doesn't really, it just looks kind of almost more technical and so forth, and we wanted to have a more user-friendly look to it. So you'll notice some changes around look and feel here as well too. The first thing I want to touch base with everybody on is the concept of a tier with our commission profiles here. So in this case right here, Brian Armstrong would be kind of like your standard loan officer here. He's earning loans on which he is the originator on. And Brian, in this case, I'm going to show an example, is supposed to get paid based off of a tier calculation. In his case, it happens to be a volume tier calculation. But what I'm going to show is the example of how flexible our tiers calculations can be. So for many of you, I imagine this is applicable. I imagine you use some type of a concept of a tier for how you pay. So I just want to show a little bit how Loan Vision handles that. I'll specifically talk to Brian Armstrong's case in this demo case, and then I'll go through some of the flexibility that we have there as well too. So specifically in this case right here, we have a tier that's based off of volume, and we're paying out in basis points. So the first line of the tier is 0 to 150,000. In this case, it happens to be for the entire calendar month, which is probably the most common, but we have some flexibility around how you can do that as well too. But from 0 to 150,000, Brian's not supposed to earn anything just yet. So he's not going to start earning until he gets at least 150,000. And then over 150,000 to 300,000, Brian's going to earn 100 basis points. And then 300,000 to 450,000, he's going to earn 125. And then 450,000 to above, he's going to earn 130. And then you'll notice we have this option in here that's called retroactive. Most tiers that I see tend to be retroactive, but not all of them, right? We see where people have the concept of a retroactive tier. We see where people have the concept of a non-retroactive tier. Just to briefly explain what that is when retroactive boxes are checked here, what that means is hypothetically, let's say Brian has 3 loans, and with those 3 loans, he's at a total of 350,000. Checking the retroactive box means we're going to pay each of the 3 loans at 125 basis points. Unchecking the retroactives means that, let's say loan number 1 was only 100,000, so he's not going to earn anything on loan number 1. Maybe loan number 2 was another 100,000, so now he's at 200,000, so he'll get paid 100 basis points on that, and then loan number 3 pushes him over that edge, then he'll get paid, on the amount that's that 120 over that 125 on that amount over 300,000. So both options exist there, and so again, I do see that people do need both of those requirements. Probably a little bit more common that it's retroactive, but not always, right? So we do have the option to do both in that case. You'll notice I'm going to kind of talk a little bit more about some other options here, and I'm going to use this tier that I'm on to explain those. I showed the option of a volume-based tier. In this case right here, you notice we can also do tier based off of units. So I have that option to do units, and units is just like they sound. So 0 to 5 units, 6 to 10 units, 11 to 15 units, etc. Right? We can just do the same thing. So instead of looking at volume, we can look at units. And then we also can look at volume and units, or volume or units. For those of you who use Loan Vision in the past and seen this, you'll see that we've revamped a little bit of our verbiage to try to make this a little bit more clear. So we tried to enhance little things like that as well too. But basically, as you can see with both volume and units, what that would mean is we can set up a tier that says, okay, for example, 0 to 3 loans, and volume from 0 to 200,000. And both would need to be met for that tier to be captured there. And then we can also do or, right? So we'll take the higher of the two. So basically, and means both need to be met, and then or means we take the higher of the two. So if we're ever in a situation where we need to do volume, we can do volume. If we need to do units, we can do units, and we could do both volume units and take the higher of the two, and we could do both volume units and make sure both of them need to be met. So in that case, with the tiers, we can really cover all scenarios there. So the tiers is one area that I'll see people commonly ask about. So I just want to start off with a kind of a high-level explanation. Say, yes, Loan Vision can do tiers. Yes, there is flexibility around doing the tiers. A lot of times people will also ask, like, they'll say, most commonly, they'll say, I calculate my commissions twice a month, the 1st, the 15th, and the 16th at the end of the month, and I need my tier to retroactively look back at that first month. So in other words, if I paid, hypothetically, 40 basis points in that first half of the calculation, and now the tier has tiered up and it's at 50 basis points, I need the system to know that and pay the additional 10. The system's equipped to do that as well too. And we have a lot of people that do it exactly that way. So it's pretty convenient from a tier perspective. So again, very high level. I appreciate it. I can't get into all the details of that, but I always like to start with the concept of a tier whenever I'm speaking to a large group to start to show the flexibility that our commissions does have. The next one I like to talk about is the concept of a condition. So if you think back to earlier when I made that statement, I said if as long as the date is on the loan card, and we can apply some system logic to it. In other words, it's not like a human element to how we are calculating that. Generally speaking, we can calculate that on your commission profile. And the condition is in large reason why we're able to do that. So I'm going to look at an individual here named Jody Crosby. Let me find Jody Crosby here. And I'm going to show you an example of the most common condition that we see. And then I'll dive into that condition a little bit and then explain how that condition can be applied for anything on your loan card. So in addition to the example you see here. So in this case right here, what we're going to see is Jody's, again, kind of a standard loan officer earning on her personal production. And what she's going to do is she has loans that are going to be considered self-generated, and she had loans that are going to be considered company-generated. This is extremely common. Probably most people that I help set up commissions will explain that they have a scenario like this. The self-generated loan, she's going to earn 125 basis points. The company-generated loan, she's going to earn 75 basis points. So in other words, if she's going to get paid more money on the loans that she brought to the business rather than the company had to bring, to her in that case, which is really common in a commission profile. And so what I want to dive into here just for just a few moments is the concept of how this conditioning logic works. And I want to just show you this all front end setup here and start to get you an idea of the flexibility here. So back to my statement, as long as that data is present on the loan card, we can typically find a way to calculate that amount there. And why I say that is how flexible commissions can be. You'll notice I'm looking at the lead source in this case right here. So in this event here, there's a field on the loan card called lead source. And if the field lead source is populated with what's called self-generated, as you see I've outlined here, then that's how we know it's a self-generated loan, thus how we pay Jody 125 basis points. But notice when I click this drop down here, I have every other field on the loan card as well too. So I keep making that statement as long as the data is on the loan card. The reason why I can comfortably and confidently make that statement is because you could see we can set up conditions off of every field on the loan card. You'll notice conditions can end up starting to get pretty complex. I'm showing a really basic one here, but you'll see as we have some options around our conditions as well too. So we have various roles that we can set for the conditioning logic that we set. And then notice I can add additional conditions here as well too. So we could say, it's a self-generated loan and a brokered loan, for example. And then maybe we pay differently for self-generated and non-brokered, hypothetically, right? Again, it just comes down to those if-then statements. And the conditioning logic in the system is extremely flexible in allowing those types of setups to be set up and condition the calculation off of any field on the loan card. Another one that I see that's really very common is people will say a guarantee. Most commonly, I hear a guarantee for a period of time, typically 3 months. So use case scenario, we have a loan officer, this person started. For the first 3 months, we're going to pay them a guarantee of X amount of dollars. After that 3 months, that guarantee expires. They're on their own at that point. So in other words, just while they have their ramp up period, while they're getting onboarded, we might expect that they don't cover a ton of loans at that time, so they might not make a huge commission. So within their contract, they have some form of an option for a guarantee. So what they'll do here in this case is we can set up a guarantee in the system. And in this case right here, I'm going to show you James Naismith just to give you an example. And what we can do with the guarantee is there's a couple different options how we can go about that. But basically, I can use a formula. In this case right here, James's guarantee is every period he has to get at least $1,500. So without diving into all the details right now at this high level, I'm just going to say I'm going to set up a condition that's saying if he didn't earn at least $1,500 in commissions, so let's just say hypothetically he earned only $1,000 in commissions, this condition gets met. And then I set up a calculation where I'm just going to take whatever he earned, in whatever $1,500 rather, minus whatever he earned in commissions. So if he earned $1,000 in commissions, we're going to pay him $500. That way he gets the guarantee. If he earned nothing in commissions, we're going to pay him $1,500. And so forth. And you'll notice I had mentioned a lot of times the guarantees expire. They don't go on forever. So that's why we have valid from and valid to. So hypothetically, James started on 2/28 and his guarantee expires, starting in June. So in June, he's no longer going to get this guarantee. You don't have to remember to go in and remove this or disable this or anything like that. At the time you set up his profile, you can go ahead and just make sure you set it up to expire at that certain period of time. So there's just a couple examples that I'd like to touch on. Again, much more flexible than that. A lot of other examples, as you can imagine, of all the people using our commissions module. Presently, people have a lot of different profiles and there's a ton of flexibility built within that module. So please, if you have any questions, can LoanVision handle the types of profiles that you need to set up and the types of contracts that you have for your commission employees, please reach out to us and let us know. We'd love to take you and do a deeper dive on what it is that you need required. And we can take a closer look at that. I want to touch a little bit on the next problem statement Jenna mentioned was draws, right? So I want to talk a little bit about draws in the system, and I want to show you some of the enhancements that we have related to that. So if I take a look at, in LV Compensate here, we see that we have what's known as the debt log loan officers page. And so basically, this is one area we can set up draws. I'm going to show you where it's also on the profile as well too, which is new to LV Compensate. But basically, in this case right here, what we have the ability to do is we have the ability to set up draws where, let's say hypothetically, this individual here named Brian Armstrong is going to get a guarantee of $1,000, or in this case, a draw rather of $1,000. I don't want to call it a guarantee to confuse that last example I gave. But he's going to have to get paid at least $1,000. And if he doesn't earn $1,000 in commissions, we have to pay him $1,000. And then what's really nice about the draws feature is it calculates the debt for you. So if we pay him, if we pay him $1,000, he's going to go into debt another $1,000. So basically, next time we go around this period to look at this, his debt's now going to be $2,010. And so what the system does in this case is it calculates that debt for you, but it also claws back from the debt as well too, and it does that calculation for you as well too. So, hypothetically, Henry Agrippa, this case right here, is in debt $3,000. Let's say he has a really big commission period, he earns $10,000 in that commission period. You're only going to pay him $7,000, and you're going to claw back $3,000. But then the next time he gets his calculation, his current balance is going to be zero. In that case, we also have some features in here called max advance balance and max reduction cap. Generally speaking, at a real high level, the max advance balance is how much you are going to allow that person to go into debt by. So it really is to protect you as a department and say, okay, this person right here, Brian Armstrong, I'm not going to let him go into debt over $20,000 basically. So we can say once he reaches that certain level of debt, we're no longer going to continue to pay his draw at that point. And then the max reduction cap really is designed to benefit the loan officer. That's saying in this example right here, even though this person's in quite a bit of debt, $7,400, we can only claw back $500 at a time. Again, you don't have to set those, right? Those options exist. You don't have to use them, but that flexibility exists in the system. And then the other thing you'll notice with LV Compensate is what you'll notice is that draws now. You can set it up if you need to set up in the masses. You can set up on that page that I just showed you. You can update it on that page that I just showed you. But you also notice that it's now going to be visible and be able to be editable from their commission profile as well too. So notice this for those of you who've used Loan Vision in the past, have seen it demoed. This is a new field or section right here, this draw section. So that same draw that I just was showing you is now also accessible on the profile. And then in addition to that, the draws will calculate whenever we calculate the worksheet here as well too. So the worksheets do get calculated when we calculate the worksheet. The draws calculate at that time as well too. So it speeds up that process for you as well. One little last feature I'm going to show before I go off my high-level explanation of some of the flexibilities as well as the draws that are set up in LV Compensate is one minor enhancement. And for many of you that are on the call, that if you haven't used this system in the past, you might look at this and not think too much of it. But I can promise you at some point this is going to be applicable to you. And some of you who are on the call probably are immediately going to say this is a simple, small change. But yes, this is applicable to me. So notice each period I calculate. Let's say hypothetically, I calculate commissions twice a month. Over the course of a year, I'm going to end up having 24 lines here. And 24 lines in 1 year, that's not so big of a deal, but 2 years and we're now at 48 lines and so forth. This can become quite extensive. We have people that are using Loan Vision commissions, have been using it for years, and they come to this worksheet and they have to scroll down to the bottom, and their scrolls, it takes them a while, or they have to maybe hit a control end, for example. Whereas we added this simple filter feature up here. So you can filter by the whole year. You can filter by, a given month, for example, and you can just quickly go to what you need to go to. So this is again, kind of a small enhancement, but nothing is kind of too small to demo and something like this. And we're kind of excited about it because although a rather small enhancement, we do think it's going to save people, a substantial amount of time, as well as help them be able to organize their commission worksheet, because this commission worksheet will grow and grow over time because it's also used as your record there. So we just added some abilities to do some additional filtering. So to conclude on my part here, very briefly, I just wanted to just note, I did touch on some examples of the flexibility of how commissions can be calculated in Loan Vision. I showed a tier, I showed a guarantee, I showed conditioning logic, but please note those are just some high-level examples. So if you have some more complex examples that you're not sure if Loan Vision can handle, please reach out to us. We'd love to take a look at them with you and show you how Loan Vision can handle those. I also touched briefly on the draws feature that we enhanced with this LV Compensate version of the system, as well as some new features such as the look and feel and the cosmetics of the system, and little features like that filter that we've added as well too, to try and make this more convenient with you. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and conclude my part of this webinar. I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to Jenna.
You guys get to hear me talk again. Yay. I will be brief. Let me just open my slideshow back up so you can see it in full screen. So this is just a quick overview, right, of kind of those key takeaways that we want you to leave this webinar with. Automation. You all are so busy, you don't have time to be spending hours and days calculating commissions every single month. You need that time to focus on other parts of your business. LV Compensate can help you there. That increased accuracy. You're not relying on an Excel spreadsheet for your draws that then you have to pull in to a different system and make sure that they're all matching up, right? This LV Compensate can handle all of that. So it's all in one place for you to reduce that risk on you and your team. Employee satisfaction. Your loan officers, your processors, their satisfaction is key for retention. So if they have this portal, they're able to log in, they can see everything from the current portal. They can see, or current portal, current period, any past periods, right? That transparency, that accessibility, that visibility is going to be key to that employee satisfaction. And then one that we did not talk about a ton, but I think is super important for your business is all of this is built on Microsoft products, right? So we are protected by that Microsoft security stack so that you have that peace of mind. So with that, I will hand it back to Brian to close us out.
Thank you, Jenna. Ben, Jenna, thank you so much for that. That was great. What I can say for sure is that the new LV Compensate module looks absolutely incredible. I've seen it before, of course, but every time I see it, I seem to pick up something even new. I can tell you that I've heard from lots of clients that calculating, tracking, and communicating commissions is just a huge pain point for so many out there. And it's very clear that this is going to have a huge impact for so many companies. So probably the reason why so many companies have moved forward with LV Compensate already. For those that are looking for more questions or assistance, definitely reach out to us. Perfect time for us to bring up our last poll here. So if we want to do that, we'll give you a second to answer this, which is which of the following best describes your interest in implementing LV Compensate? Give you a second to answer that. Again, good time for some music, but
I was going to say, do you want me to start singing, Brian?
Maybe. You offering?
I don't want to do that to everyone on this call.
All right. Let's go ahead and we can close that one down. And it looks like we only have one question left here from Tracy, and I'm not sure if we understand exactly the question, Tracy.
I can assist with that, Brian.
Okay, good.
Yep. Yeah, so the question is there a published key of the Encompass fields that are required to support the Lone Vision function? So simply put, there's not a published key of fields from Encompass that you need to support Lone Vision. I mean, Lone Vision is going to be able to really ingest any of those fields from Encompass via a loan import. So it's not like we have a specific number required, but what it will largely come in that case there is the fields from Encompass, or really any LOS for that matter, that you need to calculate your commissions. Like I gave an example of the lead source. That's a really common one. So if anybody's using Lone Vision presently today or thinking of using Lone Vision and they're building out their loan imports, we always are encouraging people to think about if you're going to use Lone Vision for commissions, think about the data that you need from your LOS to calculate those commissions. And lead source is a really good example. So there's not like a set published number of fields that makes Lone Vision function, because it really comes down to the customer specific requirements that come from their contracts with their loan officers, branch managers, processors, LOAs, and so forth. And so anything that's in the contract that's going to say we need this data to be able to calculate your commissions, you need to get that data from the LOS, whether that's Encompass or LQP or whatever LOS you may be using.
Awesome. Thank you, Ben. And of course, when we get to the questions section, questions start popping in. So
yeah, these are great. Yeah, these are great. So for the draws, can it import hourly draws per pay period and utilize it for only a monthly period? Simply put, yes. It's designed to do exactly that. And so that's something we learned many years ago in relation to that question. Is I showed that idea of the minimum advance amount, and in the example I gave Brian, his minimum advance is $1,000. But what we learned many years ago is that minimum advance amount can change every period. And in many cases, for many people, not everybody, but many people, that can change based off of an hourly wage. Now, I want to be very clear, what Lone Vision will not do is calculate like your hourly wage, for example, because it's not a payroll system. We won't know the hours those employees worked. But what the system is very much designed to do is you don't have to go in and key that in either. It's designed for you to be able to upload that very quickly. So let's say if you have, 200 people that apply for a commission draw from your payroll provider, if you can pull a file that has an identifier, i.e. the LO code, and then the dollar amount that they're supposed to be paid, the dollar amount that they earn for their hourly wage that period, you can quickly ingest that into LoanVision, and the system is designed for you to be able to reset that every period if you need to. You don't have to, right? Because a lot of people, that is a static one, but you absolutely can go in there and say import minimum advance amount, and you can have that data on a file with just two simple columns and be able to import that minimum advance amount. And in most cases, when people based off of an hourly wage.
Awesome.
Does it track credit report refunds that has to pay for the broker cures? It depends. We'd have to probably look more specifically around the details of exactly what the requirement is there. But basically, if there is if there's some form of a fee that goes to the loan officer, I can talk a little bit about how the commissions module can absolutely track that. So if there's a lot of times we'll see, I don't know if I necessarily see a credit report fee or credit report refund, for example, but like a marketing fee, for example, I've seen, and if it's repeatable, that's super easy. If that fee is the same every single time and it's repeatable, very easy to set it up, and you can set that up in the system and charge the person that fee every single period, or maybe once a month if that's how often it needs to be repeated. If it's not repeatable and that fees amount can be different, still not to worry. And what would happen in that case is worst case scenario. And we see cases where people will have some type of a fee that needs to be, they might not know it yet. It might need to be calculated some other type of way. You always can upload adjustments into the system. So you don't have to even key that adjustment in the system. You can track that as an adjustment and upload that fee. So that's kind of really the worst case scenario in that case. But if the fee is repeatable, that's usually really very easy to set up in the system. You can set it up right in the profile in the period-based calculation. Can you publish all the loan card data fields that's available to use in the conditions? Yeah, simply put, yeah, you can. So it'll be different per customer, right? Everybody's different. So that's one of the beauties of LoanVision is it's not like we have a standard set loan import that you have to meet and so forth. And you can even name the fields however you like whenever you're building out your loan import. So everybody's loan import will be different. Therefore, everybody's loan card will be different. But simply put, yes, you can still pull out and say, these are all the fields that are present on my loan card. There's various ways to do that. Perhaps, or even really more than just go to maybe the loan list page and take a look at all the fields that are available there. Is there a way to waive negative balances or draw balances after a period, like for non-recoverable draws? So again, we might have to look more specifically at how that detail would look. If I can think of what I've seen in the case with negative balances. I don't know if I come across that exact example or know what that's referring to, but there is definitely, perhaps types of draws that occur that are non-recoverable. In the event that there's some type of draw that you're supposed to pay to the person and you don't necessarily want that to contribute to their debt, yes, you can set that up. Again, it kind of goes earlier to my question earlier. If it's repeatable, that's usually very easy to set up. If it's not repeatable and it's going to be different every time, worst case scenario you can do via an adjustment. But again, we'd love to take a look maybe more specifically what's required there to see how the system can handle that.
And we probably have time for one more question. We're not going to be able to get to all these questions here, but if you want to pick one here that maybe you can get a quick answer to.
I'm just go right in order. That's fine. I mean, for the draws, can you set a clawback if commissions exceed a certain amount, i.e., if the loan officer owes $2,000 in draws and earned $2,000 in the period, we would want to claw back the net zero to the loan officer. Can we set the draw back to, for example, only if the commission earned is less than the drawback greater than the dollar amount? Simply put, yes. We'd have to, in that case, when we show that specific example there, we can show you some of the details on how the commissions can calculate, but the draws would calculate. But basically, you still are paying the minimum amount. They're still getting paid that minimum amount. And I have some Word documents that run through some scenarios to go through how that works.
Awesome. Ben, Jenna, thank you so much. We just got in with 1 minute to go here, so thank you, and thanks everyone for being here. Just a reminder, we have the QR code up on screen right now. You can take a quick picture of that. That'll get you to the recording once it's posted. We're also going to email it out to the entire group. When you close this, there'll be a quick short survey. We always appreciate any feedback that you have about this session. And thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great one, everyone.